Okay, so what if you had an AI, not one that just knows about the world, but one that's a total expert on your world? That's the big idea behind this Google tool called NotebookLM. And honestly, it might just change everything about how you handle information.
I mean, let's be real, we all are, right? You know the feeling. You've got research papers piling up, endless meeting notes, project plans, maybe some interview recordings, a bunch of YouTube tutorials. It's just this constant flood, and trying to find that one critical detail, yeah, it can feel completely impossible.
And this right here is what really gets to the heart of what makes NotebookLM so different. Just think about it for a sec. AIs like ChatGPT or Gemini, they're amazing, no doubt, because they've basically read the entire internet. But they've never read your private stuff, your critical notes, your confidential documents. And that's the exact gap this tool was made to fill.
All right, so let's dig into the problem we're all facing, this information overload. We're going to talk about how we manage our own personal universe of data, and, maybe more importantly, why those big, general-purpose AIs, as powerful as they are, come with a pretty fundamental trust issue.
Okay, and this slide hits on the biggest problem with AI right now, trust. Right? We've all seen it. AI hallucinating, just confidently making stuff up. And look, for any kind of serious work, that's a total deal breaker. NotebookLM tackles this problem head on. How? By being grounded only in the documents you give it. And this is the crucial part. It cites its sources for every single answer.
So that brings us to the solution, which is baked right into the architecture of NotebookLM. It's built on this really important concept called source-grounded intelligence.
And what source-grounded really means is, well, the AI's entire universe of knowledge is only what you give it. That's it. It's literally incapable of reaching out to the open web to answer your questions. Its world is your documents and nothing else.
I absolutely love this analogy. It just makes so much sense. A general chatbot, it's like a public librarian who's read everything in the world. Amazing for those broad questions. But NotebookLM, that's your personal research assistant. It's only read, say, the 50 reports sitting on your desk, but it knows them perfectly inside and out. It can find connections in there you would never, ever see on your own.
And the best part? You can feed it almost anything. I'm talking PDFs, Google Docs. You can even just drop in a URL to a YouTube video, and it'll analyze the transcript. You can upload audio files from your meetings, links to websites, or even just raw copy text. It becomes the central hub for making sense of, well, everything.
Okay, so let's really sharpen this distinction, right? What's the real difference between using NotebookLM and just, pasting your documents into a standard chatbot conversation? It's a fair question.
Well, it all comes down to the source of truth. A general chatbot is pulling from this huge, uncontrolled ocean of the internet. NotebookLM, though, it's working from your private, curated little pond of information. One is a generalist, the other is a specialist. In you.
Yeah, this quote from Satter just nails why this is such a big deal for any professional work. Every single answer includes a clickable citation that takes you to the exact passage in your source document. This isn't just some nice little feature. It is the absolute foundation of trust. No more guessing where an answer came from.
This table really sums it all up, doesn't it? You use a general chatbot for brainstorming, for those creative sparks. But you use NotebookLM for deep analysis, for synthesizing information you already have. And oh yeah, that privacy line is so key. With NotebookLM, your data is not used to train Google's models. Period. End of story.
So you see, it's way more than just a Q&A machine. Let's actually look at how it actively helps you transform all that raw information into structured, usable knowledge. This is where it gets really powerful.
And this is where it just blows a simple search tool out of the water. With a single click, you can ask it to restructure your information. It can turn a dense report into a study guide, or an FAQ, or even a timeline. It can pull all these scattered data points into a nice, clean table, or, get this, even generate a mind map to show you how ideas are connected, even across a bunch of different documents.
And then there's this, the audio overview. Now, this is not just text-to-speech. Not at all. You upload your sources, you click a button, and it generates a whole podcast for you. Two AI hosts have a surprisingly natural conversation, debating the key points and connecting the dots from your materials. You can literally listen to a podcast about your own notes while you're driving or at the gym. It's a total game changer.
Okay, that's enough about the features. Let's talk about how this stuff translates into actual real-world superpowers. I want to show you how people are really using this tool to do things they just couldn't do before.
I mean, just look at this. This story from a Reddit user is wild. They were helping a friend with a legal case, over 1,400 emails, dozens of audio recordings. That's an impossible amount of data for a human to manage. And they used NotebookLM to synthesize all of it and find answers for their lawyer. Incredible.
So in essence, it becomes your own personal analyst. It can sift through mountains of legal documents, find contradictions, and pull up the exact piece of evidence you need, complete with that all-important citation pointing right back to the original source.
Okay, now here's a completely different and frankly, brilliant use case. This person uploads chapters of a book they're reading and then asks NotebookLM to create a personalized book club-style podcast to help them digest it. They even upload their own notes to be included in the AI discussion. How cool is that?
You see, this turns passive reading into a totally active, interactive experience. It's not just summarizing the plot, it's creating a custom-made, analytical companion that really deepens your understanding and, just your enjoyment of what you're reading.
And the applications are just so diverse. It's amazing. You've got people using it for job interview prep, creating custom podcasts about the company and the role. Writers are using it to manage the lore of their complex fantasy novels, checking for continuity. Gamers are using it as an expert on their rulebooks, getting instant answers. Even HOA boards are using it to manage bylaws. The list just goes on and on.
So where's this all headed? Look, this tool isn't just about finding information a little bit faster. It's about building a totally deeper, more dynamic relationship with your own knowledge.
And what's really great is that it's designed to scale with you. The free tier is actually incredibly generous. It's perfect for students or personal projects. But from there, it scales all the way up to an enterprise-level tool that can manage these massive corporate knowledge bases for entire teams.
So, I guess I'll just leave you with this thought. If you could create your own personal AI, an expert on something that's deeply important to you, your work, your research, a passion project, what's the first thing you teach it? And what hidden connections might it find that you've been missing all this time?